Power rankings are really tough. Power rankings are very, very difficult to come up with. And as a result, I've done power rankings today. I've gone over them a couple of times. I'm not overly stoked about this, but I'm like, you know what? Just do it. Just do it because you know who number 30 is. And everybody knows who number 30 is, and that's the Colorado Avalanche. The number 30 because they're the Colorado Avalanche. And then there's not really much trouble in picking a number 29 because they sold at the deadline, and they're a bit of a depleted roster, and that's Vancouver. So no pain so far. 28, they're currently tied with Carolina as I'm doing this video. That's Arizona. So far, pretty simple. 27, this is where people are going to start saying, wait, seriously? It's Dallas. Dallas sold at the deadline. They've looked pretty poor. The blow game against the Islanders to me has got them down in that level, and it looks pretty ugly right now. 26th is Carolina, who have an extremely good record wearing their black jerseys. I'm not sure why that is. Genuinely not sure why that is. They're better with one jersey on than they are with another one. 25 is Detroit. Detroit sold Vanek at the deadline. No reason to believe they're going to be a threat for the playoffs right now. 24 got New Jersey. They didn't really do much at the deadline, but they're definitely not in a position to sell any playoff tickets right now. Now, these guys are up tonight. These guys are ahead. So putting them at 23rd, probably not going to make people happy in Winnipeg. But the team that they're leading, I've actually got a 22nd. Now let me explain this. Power rankings are a measure of not where a team is in the standings, but in terms of how they're playing right now. And again, this is before today's games. I figured this out before today's/tonight's games were played. And it's not easy. I mean, 30 is easy, 29 is easy, 28, 27, 26, 25, 24. Then I start running into problems because 23 is a team that's out of the playoffs, but they've had some good games. 22 is a team that's in the playoffs, but they're on their way out by the looks of it. And then, does that make it worse? And the thing is, having the Leafs at 21st, they keep losing leads. And this, if you think about it in terms of where they were at the start of the year, it's not that bad. Start of the year, many people figured they'd be down here in 30th. So the idea that in terms of power rankings, I put them at 21st, it's not that bad. Those are the bottom 10. Number 20. The team that came back in that game last night, the team that has got to get it together. The Kings are being exposed as a slow team. You can debate about quick all you want, and I personally thought they'd get better, but I didn't realize till I watched a couple of their games this week, they're egregiously slow. You can't be that slow and hope to do anything in the playoffs. Number 19, I have Buffalo. Buffalo's been much better lately. It's likely too late for them to catch on fire and get into the playoffs, but they've been much better lately. And now they're talking about extending Evander Kane. Don't do it. I know he's having a good time right now, but don't do it. Don't fall for it. Number 18, Florida, who right now look like they've got the inside track on a potential playoff spot. I have them ahead of Toronto. And I have them ahead of Toronto for good reason. Number 17. And these guys are just, they can't get it together. So this is 17, this is the Ducks. And between them and the Leafs tonight, something has to give. The Ducks have to start playing like the Ducks, or in the next power rankings, these guys could be down in this area. Number 16, and they've been playing better lately. But remember, I'm considering not just the last couple of games. Philly. Philly is another team that's probably going to find themselves on the outside looking in the playoffs, but they've had some good strings this year, especially that long winning streak. But right now, it doesn't look great. Still, they've won their last two, so they deserve that spot. And next up in the rankings is Tampa. Tampa has been playing some much better hockey lately. Their last 10 games, they've only lost one in regulation. And if they've been playing that way all year, we'd be talking about them as Stanley Cup favorites right now. But they've been struggling. Number 14, I have the Islanders, who under Doug Weight have been a completely different team than they were under Jack Capuano the first half of the season, and you have to wonder what might have happened if they'd made that coaching change sooner, because clearly the team has responded well to it. Number 13, I have Nashville. I might have had Nashville higher. The loss to Montreal is troubling. They can't really get this consistent flow going in terms of winning. They likely make the playoffs. I can't see them missing the playoffs right now, but they've got to get it together a little bit more consistently, or they're going to find themselves in trouble. They won't last long in the playoffs. Number 12, Boston. I would have had Boston higher, but their last few games, their scoring appears to be starting to have an issue again. I'm hoping that that's temporary, but I'm not going to prop my team up into the top 10 and make arguments and excuses. And number 11, just outside the top 10, is the Edmonton Oilers. So again, there's your middle 10. And now you start thinking, oh, who's he got where? Is he playing favorites? Well, clearly not, because my favorite teams are all outside the top 10. Whether it's Vancouver, Dallas, or Boston, I have not played favorites with any of my favorite teams. I'm stating that the Bruins, who are playing the best out of my three favorite teams, wouldn't last in a series against 11 teams above them, including the Oilers. Number 10, and they've been better lately. They're getting better. I still don't consider them to be in the elite of the NHL. Ottawa. Ottawa's been pretty damn good lately, and adding Burrows could be one of those pieces that, maybe gets them over that hump. But winning the division is still not going to be easy. And number 9 is Columbus. A huge shutout win over Minnesota for Columbus. Pushes them up into 9th. These guys would have been down in this territory a week and a half ago. Right now, I would put them back in the top 10. They're playing some damn good hockey. Number 8, and this one genuinely surprises me. Now, this is not including today's game, but they've started to fall back a bit. Now, they've got Justin Schultz back in tonight's game. That's going to make a difference. And by the end of next week, they could be right back up to first place. But based on the play coming into tonight, I had them sitting there. That's number 8. Number 7. Sorry. This is trickier than it should be. Number 7, I have the Sharks. They've been playing very well lately. Convincing win over an undermanned Canucks team, but still, it's one of those games where when you play one of these bottom 5 teams, you can look past these teams and towards your next opponent. So when you show up for those games and you win convincingly, that says something. Number 6, the charging Calgary Flames, the very impressive recently Calgary Flames, who would have been mired in this area as recently as a couple weeks ago. And they've looked very well, very much like a team that is turning it around. And that's what Calgary desperately needed. So Brian Elliott's rounding into form. And I don't think any of us expected that a month ago. Diehard Calgary fans might have, and maybe the odd diehard St. Louis fan. Number 5, Montreal. Now, for anybody out there saying, well, Montreal doesn't belong in there, you haven't been watching them lately then. Because absolutely Montreal belongs in there. Montreal has been playing very well. If anybody was going to slam them, it would be me. I can't. I don't honestly have anything bad to say about Montreal right now. And as a Bruins fan, it upsets me to rank them ahead of Boston. Number 4, Rangers. The Rangers have had some iffy games here and there, but honestly, I still really like them going into the playoffs, if the playoffs started right now. So we'll see how that works out for them, but for right now, they look really good. Number 3, I have Minnesota. So Minnesota, based on the fact that they've kind of cooled, I have them at number 3. They're still a absolute beast on the ice, but there are a couple of teams that have been a little bit hotter. One of those teams, Washington. Capitals scare the hell out of me on every level now that they have Shattenkirk. Having Shattenkirk means they should be number 1. They shouldn't have a team that beats them in terms of power rankings, but there they are. I said before the season started, I said the Blackhawks are still contenders. The Blackhawks will be contenders for years to come. And there were certain people who said that because of the cap and because of changes on the roster that Chicago was done. Chicago's finished. They're not a contender anymore. Before the season, I heard a lot about Tampa. I heard a lot about Anaheim. I heard about San Jose. San Jose is going to be back in there. I heard St. Louis would survive any goaltending changes they'd had. Edmonton was going to be crap. Toronto was going to be crap. The Blackhawks were falling apart. Boston was going to be garbage. Even I didn't think Boston was going to make the playoffs or even threaten for it. Florida was going to be a juggernaut. Florida was going to be absolutely a juggernaut throughout the whole season. And the Kings, due to advanced stats, were going to be a beast as well. There was a lot of things, and I was told that I was being an alarmist putting Dallas down as a team that I felt was probably a wild card, but not a lock for the playoffs. Well, I was actually being an optimist saying that. So there's my power rankings. Let me know in the comments below why I'm wrong. I apologize for getting the next 5 games for the Flames wrong last night. I was coming off a 3-hour sleep, but there are mistakes that a person makes that you don't really have an excuse for, and that's one of them. I will remedy that though later tonight. But for now, power rankings. Soak them in, enjoy them, and it's just one man's opinion. Just let me know what you think. And don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through, because this kind of high-tech crap you can get from me all the time. This is high-tech. This is hockey news, hockey guys, power rankings. I don't know how these compare to Hockey News, TSN, or Sportsnet or anything. But this is just mine based on looking at the records, looking at injury reports, looking at just games I've watched and where I think the teams fit. This is how I feel. Again, let me know why I'm right. Let me know why I'm wrong. And thanks for watching.